Are you guilty of doing these 3 mistakes that could be potentially holding you back? I did. I think Kristen did. And we're about to go over it right now, so stay tuned.
I think the very first 3 habits in this book, if you're not doing those, there's no way you can propel forward with success.
You're holding yourself back.
Completely.
Yeah. So what's habit number 1?
So the first one is be proactive is the first habit. So when we see people that are being reactive instead of proactive.
Yeah, what's that saying? You're too worried about putting out the fires versus actually figuring out how to prevent the fire from starting. Yeah. What I really like about this habit number 1 too, it almost goes along with the ideology of live intentionally instead of default, right? So if you start planning ahead, or if you start really thinking about things that you want ahead of time and planning for them, you'll actually make them happen, which actually leads to mistake number 2.
Absolutely. And that really is when people, what did I say earlier when we were getting ready? Like screw around and find out.
Yeah.
I think I used a different word.
Yeah.
But you need to have clear direction. And I think he actually says start with the end in mind. Yeah. Right. And I really like the example of what happens if you just put a boat out into the ocean, no navigation set into it, no crew, no captain. Like the boat's most likely going to crash on some shore somewhere versus knowing what it needs to get through, even if it's stormy weather, even if there's rocky waters.
Yeah, which is why the actual title of the mistake is, drifting without a clear destination or direction. Yeah. And so just really being, actually I have with Sage, I actually have a video around goal setting. And one of the things that I encourage is if you're really stuck, just figure out where you want to be. Think ahead, think a year ahead, 3 years, 5 years ahead. Where is it you want to be and work backwards?
Well, it's like your next 5 moves, right? You got to, the true strategists will plan what a master chess player can do 21 moves ahead.
Yeah.
So it's very true. Like, what is your ultimate goal?
Yep.
And then set daily tasks and everything leading up to that moves you towards that.
And I really like it because what's the third one now? Third mistake that could be holding you back
is prioritizing urgency or busy work over importance.
I really like how this can tie into drifting with no clear destination, because you can have a goal and you can go ahead and set your plan and your actionable steps. However, are you actually going to do those steps, right? And which one of those steps is more important than the other, right? Because sometimes I think we get so caught up into doing things just to look busy versus really analyzing, are you doing what's going to make you money? Are you doing what's going to get you ahead to that goal that you want to be at? And whatever it is.
They talk so much about the busy work of checking emails multiple times a day, checking your social medias multiple times a day. You don't need to do that.
Yeah. Brian Tracy with Eat That Frog.
And Atomic Habits.
Yeah. There's a lot of books.
There are so many who advise against just randomly going in and checking emails, checking socials. Like, block your time, schedule it, but give your undivided attention to what will make you money.
Yeah, what's really important. I think a great thing just to build on that is really sit back and think, what are your big marbles? And I say your big marbles because those are the important ones. If you only had a glass, right, and you had to fill it up with all the important things, those are going to be the really big marbles that go in your cup, right? And then afterwards, you can go ahead and put some gravel. They're going to be a little bit smaller. They're important, but they're not very important. They're not as important as your big marbles. And then what ends up happening is you fill all the empty spaces with sand, right, to really get a true full cup. The problem is a lot of people like to fill their cup with sand first, which is all the tiny little problems in quotations, and they're really just distractions,
right?
And then they try to put gravel and big marbles, and there's no room left for that. So really prioritize what's important to you and make sure that's the first thing you get done in the morning, right? Like Brian Tracy's Eat That Frog, and then make it habitual, like we talked about in Atomic Habits. And next thing you know, you will be getting over mistake number 3, which is
prioritizing busy work. Urgency over the importance.
Yes.
So these first 3, and I think Stephen even calls them things you have to really master about yourself before you can even move forward into some of the other things within your business.
Yeah, I really like the book. A lot of times in this book, it's just telling you a list of things you need to do. But he really went into kind of deep diving in, even with the first habit, introspection inward, right?
Take ownership of what it is that you're doing.
Yeah, what separates us from the animals is the fact that we have the ability of reflecting inward and seeing from our previous mistakes, which are actually just lessons, and then changing from there, right? Evolving and adapting from there. So I really like how this book dives into, not only do you want to get to your goal, right? This is what this whole video is about, is like getting to your goal. But the other part is, how can you do it and keep your sanity, right? Keep your code of ethics.
Well, and he gives you diagrams in there to help understand truly what is the important work versus the busy work. And he even breaks it down. He aligns what needs to be done in his business and his personal life. Doing things with his spouse and for his kids is right up there with priority for his business too.
Yep.
So it doesn't let the little busy work distract from things that his children need and his business needs.
Yep. Yeah.
So
overall, really good book.
Yeah.
I recommend it.
Absolutely. Because those first three, powerful.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for joining us on this episode. We've got several more coming out the rest of this month, but the books we just talked about, Atomic Habits, Eat That Frog, Your Next 5 Moves, it's all in our video history. Like and subscribe and click the little bell so that you will know when we upload additional videos all about helping you grow yourself to grow your business.
Hey guys, some of the books we mentioned, like Atomic Habits, if you want to watch it, click here. And another book that's really good is by Patrick David, is Your Next 5 Moves. Click over here and we'll see you on the next one.
Are you making these 7 financial mistakes? If you are, they could be holding you back from real wealth.
I made these same mistakes myself. I was really focused on making more income, thinking that was going to fix my problems, when really I needed to focus on my habits of being financially independent.
Leilani and I are going to tell you